Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Hey Shady Lady and I'm trying to get back into all of this YouTube and Twitch stuff again for the millionth time. So I thought it would be appropriate for me to go ahead and talk about a blog post I wrote a couple of months ago now called 7 Evil Excuses Not to Stream on Twitch. So this is already available in blog form. If you'd like to follow along, you can check out my blog at heysshadylady.com. The link will be below. Every day I wake up and I ponder the same question. Should I stream today? And if it's not in the form of a question, then it's in the form of an assertion. I should stream today. And I usually think this with a bit of a sigh. And maybe this has somehow become my new existential mantra. If I'm not seen, then am I even real?
If my life isn't viewed, I'm not real. If I'm not seen, I don't exist.
Have you ever seen Scott Pilgrim vs. the World? It's the movie about Scott, the gawky college dude who meets Ramona, the super cool manic pixie dream girl, and he wants to date her, but first he has to defeat her 7 evil exes before her heart can be his. Well, being a successful streamer is my Ramona, and I have to defeat my 7 evil excuses for why I struggle to stream consistently. Why does it even matter if I'm consistent anyway? Shouldn't you just be able to boot up your stream whenever you want and your audience will show up too? Unfortunately, no. Imagine you're standing in front of a very tall set of stairs that leads up to a mountain summit, and you don't want to be here climbing all day. Actually, you wanted to be at the top of that mountain yesterday, and so you're going to get to the top of that mountain faster than should be possible by going really hard right out of the gate. You get yourself a nice running start and you take leap after leap after leap up the stairs, your breath eventually coming in shorter and shorter bursts. And so you come to a gradual stop, realizing that you're not going to have a lot of energy for a while, but you're confident because surely you must be close to the top after all that effort, right? You realize with exhaustion and defeat that you've barely made a dent in the climb, and now you have no motivation to keep going at all. We've all heard this tale time and time again in like The Tortoise and the Hare. Slow and steady wins the race. Pacing yourself with one gentle, sustainable step after another. This will get you to your destination in much better shape than those who take leaps and sprints occasionally when their energy allows. So let's step away from this metaphor for a second and make this a little more personal. Really, people are simple creatures, and the out of sight, out of mind thing is absolutely true when it comes to streaming on Twitch. After a certain level of absence on your part, your audience just forgets about you. And that sucks to hear. It sucks to worry about, but I'm sure you follow some people where you won't see them for a while. They just leave your mind, they leave the front of your brain, your consciousness. And then all of a sudden you see them pop up in your feed and you're like, oh my God, I haven't seen them in forever. I wonder what they're up to. It's a very real thing on the internet. And on top of that, social media algorithms do not reward flaky inconsistency. These platforms want to make money, damn it. And you need to be churning out content after content to keep their user base entertained as often as possible, but not too often, or else the audience might get content fatigue, okay? Think you can manage that? So what stands in my way of streaming and creating content consistently? What are my go-to excuses when I know I need to be making content, but I just can't muster the energy? Excuse number 1, I don't always want to be on camera. One of the biggest reasons why I end up canceling a stream has to do with my ability to feel camera ready. Back when I was working at a coffee shop, you only needed to show up with a smile, ready to serve customers, and perhaps chat with them as they waited on their chai latte. I didn't feel this immense pressure that I had to be beautiful at all times on the job. This let me relax a lot in my daily work routine, and ultimately, working as a barista was something I was able to stay more consistent with than streaming. I know this isn't an issue that everyone will experience, but cam streamers and especially femme presenting people who wear a lot of makeup, I think this is kind of a universal thing. Why do I feel this need to look good as a streamer? Because you never know when you're about to have a standout moment. Your new golden clip. The one you're going to want to post all over social media for months to come. You never know who's going to raid you that day. You never know who's watching. So I want to look presentable, since everything I'm doing is being video archived on the internet where nothing ever dies. Of course, I could just YOLO this and not give a damn what I look like, but I've definitely noticed through my years of makeup artistry artistry and cosplay that when I'm in a look that I'm proud of, I tend to have higher confidence and perform better. And pushing further on this topic, there's been so many times in the past where I've gone through like 5 or more outfits or several different wigs or different makeup looks, only to finally give up, realizing that I just can't stand how I look for the day, and there's no way I'm gonna appear on video looking like this. A pile of dejected costumes will lay in the floor as I slump into the covers for a Netflix binge instead. This is certainly just mental health things, but the hurdle of being perceived on camera is one of the deadliest nails in my coffin. This line of thought could lead us into a discussion about the pros and cons of VTubing or streaming without a camera, but maybe we'll save that for another day. Excuse number 2. It's mental illness, love.
Maybe she's born with it. Or maybe, just maybe, it's mental illness, innit?
Being a full-time content creator and struggling with an extensive cocktail of mental health disorders is no laughing matter. Shout out to all my neurodivergent peeps in the chat. I keep thinking at some point in my life, I'm just going to have it all together and be able to manage my mental health while still being a normal functioning member of society. But that day has yet to come. The biggest mental health disorder that I struggle with in regards to being a streamer is my bipolar disorder. Not only do I go through long form mood shifts, a couple of months of general depression, not wanting to do anything, just feeling like complete garbage, hardly being able to take care of myself, versus a few months of an energetic upswing leading to overproduction and mania, which is probably what I'm experiencing right now since I'm doing so many streams and YouTube videos, and I'll save that for my therapist though. But I also find myself rapid cycling through these extremes on a weekly and sometimes a daily basis. What this can look like for me is at the start of the month, I have planned an over-ambitious schedule of daily streams, multiple weekly YouTube videos, a new podcast series, an ambitious art project, and a handful of collabs. 2 or 3 weeks into executing this plan, and I've hit my limit. I've expended all of my energy taking leaps up that mountain, right? So I disappear for weeks, sometimes months, because I can't keep up with the routine I set up for myself when I was in a manic phase. And as time passes, slowly my energy starts to return and I begin plotting my comeback to streaming, which usually has a bunch of bells and whistles and yet another overambitious schedule. This back and forth continues and continues and continues and continues, and I have yet to find a balance. Hence my sporadic and unpredictable production schedule over the years. Sorry. Excuse number 3. Analytics are discouraging as fuck. I think the worst part of streaming is how tied my self-worth is with my view count or my follower count. I know this isn't just a struggle for content creators either, because everyone who uses social media is subjected to the comparison of who has how many followers, who gets how many likes. Life as a full-time streamer, though, it means that your view count or your like count is directly linked to your paycheck and how likely brands are to work with you. And social proof, also how likely other people on the internet are going to think that you're worth looking into. Well, this person has a bunch of followers. They're probably really good. I'm going to follow them too. And the sad truth of streaming is that if you're not popular, you don't make any money. Throughout the many years that I've been streaming, I've struggled greatly with comparing my analytics to my friends or other streamers as we all grow. Time and time again, I've seen people start streaming years after I did. Several times tell me that my Twitch tutorial videos have inspired them to start streaming and they skyrocket overnight and have doubled or tripled my viewership in just a fraction of the time. This often makes me question, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Why am I stagnating and getting nowhere constantly? And that in turn just destroys my motivation. On the flip side of this, as view count and follower count grows, something that is generally considered a good thing, I often find my anxiety growing as well. There's a pressure that comes with more eyes on your content, a fear of judgment, wondering exactly who everybody is and if they're watching you with good intentions or not. I have a desire not to disappoint anyone or do anything to cause them to click unfollow. And I will often find myself overthinking the view count dropping, follower count dropping. Why does no one like me? Why am I losing followers? Bleh, I'm so boring. It sucks. Likes, dislikes, follower, subscriber count, these are all publicly visible numbers as well. So the realization that everyone else can see you failing or succeeding adds an entirely new level of self-consciousness into the mix. I think this is one of the reasons why I like my website and blog so much. There aren't numbers associated with it, at least not publicly available ones. Nobody knows how popular my blog is or isn't. It's just the content speaking for itself. If I could just turn off follower count and view count, dislikes, likes on everything, I would. The vast majority of my stress and doubts come from whether other people like and follow what I'm doing. This is definitely whack. I know. I need to stop caring about what people think about me. This has been a struggle since I was a tiny tot. So trust, I know, but this is like asking a dog not to chase a rabbit. It's just in their nature, okay? Excuse number 4. Streaming feels like high school. I was genuinely surprised at how much social politics, cliques, and drama circled around Twitch my first year on the platform. And here I am now, over 7 years later, and I can't believe anybody wouldn't expect those things with such an ego-driven social platform. When I think back to high school, I remember walking down the hallways and wishing I had more friends, wishing that I was popular. There were various cliques all huddled around each other, and I could feel their passive judgmental gazes as I walked by. I considered myself a bit of a social butterfly, but this was really just a nice way of saying I didn't belong anywhere. Now on Twitch, I see these different groups crop up all over the place, and it's not too different from the jocks, the freaks, the preps of high school. We got the edgelord FPS players, the wholesome Minecraft SMP squads, the Square Enix anime nerds, cozy gamers, Animal Crossing Sims era, etc., etc., etc. And so here's a quote from Rachel Thompson. According to psychology academics, clique formation is actually not unique to our high school experiences. The existence of Twitter cliques boils down to our human nature. Dr. Michael Muthukrishna, associate professor of economic psychology at London School of Economics, says this tendency to form in-groups and out-groups is a core part of human nature. Not only that, this part of us long outlasts our teenage years. Robin Dunbar, professor of evolutionary psychology at University of Oxford, tells me, Rachel, that the clique formation is a natural pattern for us which remains a feature of our social world throughout life. So seeing these clusters of like-minded people networking with each other, rating and collaborating is totally natural to human psychology and human existence, but it still creates the ever-present FOMO, fear of missing out, that we're all suffering under lately. I want to belong. I want to be part of the group. What can I do to get the invite? Couple this with all the social media gurus constantly shouting niche down, niche down, niche down. And now we've got a delicious recipe for a wayward content creator selling their soul to the algorithm. Don't even get me started on the social politics, cancel culture, and drama aspect of Twitch. That is a nightmare topic, and it's there and it exists and it's constantly stressful and it's a constant fear and worry and keep my mouth shut, don't keep my mouth shut. If I don't speak on it, then I'm a bad person. If I do speak on it, then I'm putting my nose in where it doesn't matter. I don't want to say something wrong. I don't want to not say something wrong. The subtweeting, the moral posturing, the virtue signaling, the rehashing of tired topics like booby streamers and starting soon screens just for the sake of engagement farming on Twitter or wherever. It's exhausting and mind numbing. But once again, all the cool kids are doing it and look at how many likes they're getting. So maybe you should join in and get some likes and follows out of it too. The worst part of all of this is that the algorithm rewards this engagement. If you don't post engaging content, you start to get buried under the dreaded shadow ban in favor of better content that keeps users on the platform longer. The pressure to participate in this dog and pony show is at an all-time high, and your morals are at stake as you question, do I want more eyes on my content, or do I want to stay untainted by the trending topics and buzzwords? Excuse number 5, it's hard to strike a good work-life balance. Streaming is an extreme sport that requires not only the high energy levels needed to multitask and entertain while playing a video game, but also marketing skills, editing, networking, social media strategizing, and so much more. All these tasks are done while sitting at a computer chair, so naturally, my physical health has fallen to the wayside while I try to juggle all the various tasks needed for planning, creating, and promoting a successful stream presence. I mean, how many tweets have you seen like this? Seriously, how do people live on their own, do all the chores, clean, cook, work, make cosplays, edit photos, videos, and have time for a social life? How do people balance full-time work, health, social life, adulting, and streaming? I'm struggling. Recently, I've been trying to prioritize getting into the gym or exercising so I can sort out my physical health, but this has caused my stream hours to slip. Healthy body or healthy career? Decisions. And what about time to socialize with my friends and family? Time for self-care and grooming? Time to spend outside in the sun, touching grass? And just some nice free time for relaxing. I've never gotten the balance of work and life right while I've been pursuing streaming. Streaming also invites a really strange blurring of the line between work and play. All my favorite hobbies become content. My friends and social activities start to turn into collabs. My viewers can become my friends, advisors, pupils, romance interests, enemies, etc. Where is the line, and how do I recognize when it's a step too far? This is a complicated dance of boundaries that I have yet to master, and truthfully, this has been the most painful stress of my streaming career. It's caused me to walk away more times than anything else on this list. Parasocial relationships can make you feel like strings are attached to your paycheck in a way that I've never seen before at any other job. My 9-to-5 corporate data entry job was simple, yet soul-sucking. I did the work, the paycheck was mine, and I don't owe them anything else besides my 40 hours. Sadly, the amount of times that I've received messages from loyal viewers who were angry that I wasn't giving them enough attention, even though they donated X amount of money to me, would probably surprise you. Maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. The emotional guilt and manipulation that comes along with the paycheck can sometimes make streaming feel like a mistake. And I find myself pining for the days of gray cubicles and a clear clock in and clock out time. Excuse number 6. Tech difficulties suck. There's nothing worse than getting your hair and makeup and outfit all done up and you have your social media posts prepped and ready to go, only to find out that your lights aren't working or your camera's malfunctioning or your microphone, like tonight when I was trying to record this video, a weird double audio thing happening, or maybe your OBS deleted half of your scenes for no reason. There are just so many different technical components to streaming, and at any point, any of those things could just stop working or malfunction. And this is often completely out of our control, and it's just part of the job. Dealing with technical difficulties without absolutely losing your mind. What's worse is when these issues happen when you're already live, and sometimes you just have to end the stream early. All the work and the effort that went into preparing yourself to go live in the first place, working that energy up, convincing yourself to go live, feeling good enough to be on camera, it's totally destroyed now, and you're ready. I'm ready to trade in my streamer lifestyle for that van life minimalism lifestyle instead. Excuse number 7. I feel like I'm just wasting my time. As time goes on, streaming on Twitch is seeming less and less like the best use of my time if I'm trying to grow a career online. The amount of time and effort that goes into producing one YouTube video that might continue gaining views and followers for months and sometimes even years makes all the effort that goes into a stream that's no longer worth watching a couple of days later seem a little pointless, especially as short form content like Instagram Reels, TikToks, YouTube Shorts start to become the main source of entertainment. And as Twitch destroys itself from the inside out with its overbearing, unskippable 1 out of 6 ads, invading the content and chasing the viewers away. I'm beginning to question if the 20 hours I would have spent streaming that week, plus the 10 to 15 hours of prep time and wind down time, might have been better served producing a nicely polished YouTube video and a handful of short form videos instead. Taking this even further, I wonder why I even spend so much time at my computer at all. I have over 3,500 hours logged in Overwatch. And yeah, my reaction times might be top notch, and I can usually snatch things out of the air as they get knocked over in my real life with lightning speeds, which surprises me sometimes. But couldn't that time have been better served at the gym or learning a language or a musical instrument? The monetization of video games has created a built-in excuse for a bit of laziness in myself. Since I'm making content, I'm not just lounging and playing games, all right? So how do I defeat these excuses? I don't know that I really do. Every day is a struggle for me to find the motivation to do something, to make something, to be something. Even writing the blog for this topic and finally recording the video was months long. I had this on my to-do list for the last 6 weeks. And as I'm trying to produce these, I keep glancing at Overwatch or Minecraft or Phasmophobia right now, thinking how much easier it would be to just chill out with my friends for a little bit and play some video games. But I push through. And I think that's what it always boils down to, is pushing through, sitting in the frustration, the procrastination, the existentialism, and deciding to move forward anyway. There are 2 scenes that I think of in regards to this topic from movies that absolutely destroyed me as a child. Spoilers for 20-plus-year-old movies ahead. One was The Never-Ending Story, when our hero Atreyu is on a journey through Fantasia in search of the childlike empress with his trusty steed Artax. At one point, they stumble across the Swamp of Sadness. It's here that Artax, the horse, a powerful vessel who helped Atreyu through many trials and tribulations, is finally swallowed by his own despair and meets his end by sinking into the Swamp of Sadness. Atreyu is begging and pleading with Artax, "You have to try, you have to care." And I think it's just such a powerful metaphor, especially as like a tarot reader, that inner child begging and pleading the body to keep moving forward. And the second scene that I think of that broke my little hearts was in Homeward Bound. And this is a movie about 3 pets: Shadow the golden retriever, Chance the boxer, and Sassy the Himalayan cat. They've believed that they've been left behind forever when the family just goes out on vacation. The trio then go on a journey through the Californian wilderness to return home and find their family. As they near the end of this voyage, our kind-hearted friend Shadow finds himself stuck in a deep mud pit. He is a bit of an old man, and he struggles to climb out of that mud pit a few times before he finally just sinks to defeat. He just can't muster the strength to drag himself out of this hole. Even though the fun-loving Chance, the boxer, is begging him not to give up. Shadow says, "Do you think it's easy for me to admit I can't do it? I'm too old." And Chance says, "That's not true. There's nothing you can't do." If you've never seen Homeward Bound and you don't cry at Shadow in the mud pit, we can't be friends. That's all I gotta say. I think it's interesting in both of these examples that Shadow and Artax are giving up in spite of the fact that their loved ones are cheering them on. Their defeat cost their loved ones just as much. I was not expecting to get emotional recording this. Bruh. I don't want to give up in the Swamp of Sadness or the mud pit of despair. I don't care how old I am or how hard it is or how tired I get. I want to keep pushing. I want to keep trying and finding myself growing stronger every hurdle that I overcome. I might need to adjust my strategy or ask for help or sit down and rest for a bit like Shadow did before he did finally gather the strength he needed to drag himself out of that mud pit in spite of all odds. But I'm going to keep going no matter what. I'm not going to let a bunch of silly excuses stand in the way of following what's in my heart. So I hope you don't either. I know that I love content creation. And even if I wasn't doing this for a career, I've been doing this since I was 5 years old, performing plays for my family, 13, 14 years old, running my first fan sites for Inuyasha and Pokemon and whatever else. And yeah, thank you for watching this video, and I hope you've been enjoying my content that I've been putting out lately. Y'all can check me out on all my social media at Hey Shady Lady, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye, everybody.